It was fast, loud, and nothing like the other teen shows on TV, with a main character who could outmaneuver adults like a superpower. A show with a surreal, over-the-top visual style that made it feel like a live-action cartoon. But after 2 wild seasons, the show lost its identity, its audience, and eventually got canceled. So how did a series that once outsmarted Ferris Bueller end up rebranded, canceled, and mostly forgotten? Well, this is the history of Parker Lewis Can't Lose.
Catch the season premiere of Parker Lewis Can't Lose next Sunday night on Fox.
Set in the hyper-stylized halls of Santo Domingo High School, Parker Lewis Can't Lose follows the misadventures of Parker Lewis, a confident, endlessly resourceful teenager who always seems one step ahead. Alongside him were his 2 closest friends, Jerry Steiner, a gadget-toting nerd with an endless supply of inventions, and Mikey Randall, a sensitive rocker with a rebellious streak. The show's episodes revolved around the trio navigating familiar teenage problems in inventive, unexpected ways. The idea for Parker Lewis began in 1987 when CBS approached writer Clyde Phillips with a request. They wanted a teen series centered around a clever, rule-bending high schooler. The timing made sense. Ferris Bueller's Day Off had just become a cultural hit, and networks were already looking for the next charismatic teenage rebel. Phillips teamed up with co-creator Lon Diamond to shape the world of Parker Lewis. While it shared the rebellious spirit of Ferris Bueller, Parker's story had its own style and tone, built around exaggerated situations and offbeat humor. CBS eventually had a change of heart and passed on the project. But Phillips and Diamond brought it to Fox, which at the time was still defining itself as a new player among the major networks. With Fox willing to take a risk on something offbeat, Phillips and Diamond finally had the chance to bring their high school misfit vision to life. With the concept locked in and Fox behind it, the next step was building the world of Santo Domingo High, and that started with the quest for the right faces to bring Parker's universe to life. The casting of Parker Lewis brought together a mix of rising actors and unexpected choices that helped define the show's unique identity. Leading the cast was Corin Nemec as Parker Lewis. Already gaining attention in the late 1980s, Nemec was cast as the cool, confident teen who always had a plan. Billy Jane took on the role of Mikey Randall, the group's rebellious but loyal friend. Jane had previously appeared in television and film roles, but this show became his most visible part. Troy Slayton was cast as Jerry Steiner, the group's awkward genius and one of the show's most stylized characters, instantly recognizable in his trench coat and deadpan delivery. Melanie Chardoff, already known for her work in sketch comedy, was cast as Principal Grace Musso. Her character's over-the-top intensity was a deliberate contrast to Parker's slick confidence, and her performance quickly became one of the show's visual and comedic centerpieces. One major change came between the pilot and the first season. Parker's father, Marty Lewis, was originally played by Sherman Howard, but by the time the series launched, the role had been recast with Timothy Stack, who brought a more exaggerated, sitcom-ready tone to the part. Similarly, the character of Parker's mother, Judy Lewis, was portrayed by Mary Ellen Trainor in the pilot and then again in seasons 2 and 3, but in season 1, she was played by Ann Bloom. The supporting cast included several standout performers who would grow with the show. Abraham Ben-Ruby was cast as Larry Kubiak, originally a stereotypical bully, later softened into a fan-favorite gentle giant. Taj Johnson played Frank Lemmer, Musso's shadowy assistant. Maya Bruton played Shelley Lewis, Parker's manipulative younger sister. In season 2, Jennifer Guthrie joined as Annie Sloan, Parker's steady girlfriend. Season 2 also introduced a new setting and another recurring character, Nick Comstock, played by Paul Johansson. In addition to its core ensemble, Parker Lewis featured a surprising roster of guest stars. Among them were Josh Lucas, Mila Jovovich, and even director Robert Zemeckis, who appeared as himself.
Mommy, Daddy, I was so scared last night. I thought I heard somebody trying to get in the house way after midnight. But it was only Parker.
From its very first episode, Parker Lewis Can't Lose made its ambitions clear. The show was staged with the hyper-reality of a comic strip come to life. Every episode was packed with exaggerated visuals, rapid editing, and absurdist gags that pushed the boundaries of what a live-action sitcom could do. According to creators Clyde Phillips and Lon Diamond, that cartoon-like approach was the goal. Props were deliberately oversized or ridiculous. Sound design was just as over the top. The series used more than 300 sound effects per episode to punctuate even the smallest movement. Footsteps echoed, doors exploded, and hands made cartoonish swoosh and zing noises, often lifted from classic Hanna-Barbera stock libraries. The camera work also broke conventional sitcom rules. Scenes were shot from distorted angles or extreme wide shots. Some moments would freeze mid-frame while graphics or effects played out around the characters. Wind machines, ghosting effects, spinning stars, and multi-layered edits became part of the visual language. Even empty school hallways were made to feel chaotic, filled with gusts of wind and smashing doors. Phillips later explained that nothing in the frame was accidental. The production team even multiplied background extras digitally to create crowd scenes that felt more overwhelming than they really were. But all that style came at a cost. Parker Lewis was far more expensive than a typical half-hour comedy, with special effects, location shoots, and music licensing fees pushing the show's budget well above average.
Promise I won't lock you in there.
Sure, like I believe you.
Parker Lewis premiered on Fox on September 2nd, 1990, launching at around the same time NBC rolled out its own high school Rebel series, a direct adaptation of Ferris Bueller's Day Off. While both shows owed their existence to the original film, the comparison wasn't flattering for NBC. The Ferris Bueller sitcom suffered from weak execution and poor casting. Critics questioned whether Charlie Schlatter playing Ferris had the charm or wit to pull it off. In contrast, Parker Lewis stood out immediately. Critics praised its originality, its visual flair, and its unpredictable tone. The Los Angeles Times called it a gleamingly slick, high-tech delight. USA Today was similarly enthusiastic, calling it smarter and more inventive than most teen comedies airing at the time. While not a breakout hit in terms of total viewers, the show quickly developed a loyal audience, especially among teens and young adults. According to Variety in March 1991, the show ranked high with viewers in the 18 to 34 demographic, even if its overall Nielsen ratings remained modest. Still, that was enough for Fox. Executives ordered more episodes and initially avoided interfering with day-to-day writing, but the network's overall strategy eventually shifted. Fox began pivoting toward more adult-oriented programming. In Season 2, changes began to take shape. As the network leaned harder into its new vision, the surrealism that defined the show began to fade. Season 3 confirmed the shift. Right from the first episode, it was clear things had changed. Parker's wild hairstyle and wardrobe were gone. Jerry's iconic trench coat was retired. The brightly colored, surreal high school universe had been replaced with more grounded stories, a summer setting, and a rebranded title that removed the phrase "can't lose." For longtime fans, the identity of the show had been fundamentally altered. Behind the scenes, the transformation wasn't accidental. According to co-creator Lon Diamond, Fox had begun pushing for changes as part of a broader programming strategy. While these changes may have been intended to attract a wider viewership, they had the opposite effect. Fans who had embraced the show for its rule-breaking creativity were left behind, and new viewers, unfamiliar with the earlier seasons, didn't find enough to grab onto. The series that once drew attention for its originality was now competing in a much more crowded, more traditional space, and it didn't stand out anymore. As the ratings declined, so did network support, which led to its cancellation. After its original run, Parker Lewis Can't Lose largely disappeared. Despite its cult following, the series was unavailable on VHS or DVD for years. Shout Factory released the complete first season on DVD, including all 26 episodes, plus cast interviews, commentaries, and behind-the-scenes material. A second season box set followed, but the third and final season was never released. No official reason was given, though rights issues were widely assumed.
Jill, have you seen my new jeans? I have a date tonight.
Sorry, you lose, Park.
Are you sure you haven't seen my jeans, Shelly?
In essence, because the show stopped being itself, it let go of its identity, and the audience let go too. Its early run remains a standout, a brief, brilliant flash of creative freedom in network television. For a while, we all wanted to be Parker. Next, we look at Cobra, another ambitious series that came and went in a blur, and this one had Michael Dudikoff. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content.